I really appreciate the great work that is done at the local level. I've seen this everywhere I've traveled on this Iowa Jobs Initiative. The Lieutenant Governor and I have been to roughly a couple of dozen communities statewide now, and we've had shovel-ready project submissions totaling 3,800 projects statewide, and those include the ones that the mayor highlighted. So I really compliment you and your economic development team for coming up with the details on how you can allow your dreams to come true at the local level. I mean, that's really what infrastructure is about, is investing in our future and maximizing our potential, whether it's as a state or as a city, as a county. And it takes vision, it takes planning, it takes creativity to come up with these great ideas. And the three projects that were highlighted really fit in well with our Iowa Jobs Initiative. As all of you know, we're facing some really tough economic times. In fact, this is the first worldwide recession in nearly 50 years. This is having an impact, obviously, on our workforce, on our economy, whether it's here in Iowa or in most places around the world. So the question is how are we going to recover? How are we going to work our way out of this tough time? And I think that Iowans and Americans expect a lot of their elected officials. We're hired, we're elected to try to provide solutions and ideas to the challenges that the people we represent are faced with. And one of my real concerns as governor of Iowa right now is the fact that too many people have lost their jobs. In fact, in the construction industry alone, about 3,000 really good jobs have been lost in Iowa in the last 12 months. We have 70,000 families that are collecting unemployment today. That number was 35,000 last year at this time. So those are facts that concern me, and I know they concern you, and I know they concern countless families across the state that are having a tough time. So this proposal is all about job creation and economic development. It will have a real domino effect and a very positive impact for many, many years to come. If we can move forward on any number, one of these projects, two of these projects, three of these projects, this is going to allow us to create not only really good construction jobs as we build out these projects, but potentially a number of really good paying permanent jobs. This facility here, and I appreciate Ashford hosting us today, this is a great example of an economic development project that has resulted in creating dozens of really good jobs. I mean, you just walk in the building and people are working, and it's a very productive environment, and there's a lot of action and a lot of things going on here. It started with an idea. It started with a plan. It started with a shovel-ready project. In fact, I was last here in a little tent, and that was all that was out here. Just a ribbon cutting ceremony and a lot of enthusiastic people, including most of the people in this room, that believed in this project. And look what it has meant to the local economy. Look what it has done for so many families who now are employed here and have connections here. Look what it's done in terms of opportunities for students that otherwise might not have had the chance to further their education. So again, you really can't quantify the overall impact, but with a $750 million investment in our infrastructure, it is fair to say that this could mean billions of dollars in terms of state, local, federal money and private sector money that could be leveraged on these projects. And that is the idea here. We expect the local community to put some investment into these projects. The city, the county, the state's going to do our fair share, and we, in some cases, hope that the federal government could help on these projects. That was the theory behind the Vision Iowa project, which has been a very successful statewide infrastructure modernization initiative that has benefited a number of communities across the state. So what we're trying to do with this bonding proposal is a very similar thing. We want to create jobs, we want to invest in bricks and mortar, we want to invest in economic development opportunities that improve the quality of life for the people of this state. And we have a choice here. During this tough economic time, we can run and hide and just kind of hope that things turn around, or we can take control of our own destiny and come up with our own state recovery plan, our own state stimulus initiative that I think could really complement what President Obama is doing at the national level with his federal recovery package. For example, as a part of that package, Iowa will receive about $360 million for infrastructure. We have billions of dollars in infrastructure needs, however. So we know that while that 360 is going to help create some really good jobs, it's going to help us move forward on projects, it won't be able to help you most likely on any one of the three that you've outlined here today. So there's more demand for infrastructure, and our challenge has been complicated because of the natural disaster last summer too. As Eastern Iowa knows, this was the worst natural disaster in Iowa history. It is now the 5th worst natural disaster in U.S. history. That is measured by public infrastructure damage. And I read the most recent report this morning on the way here. We now have sustained $1.1 billion of public infrastructure damage related to the floods last year. That includes all of the public buildings on the campus of U of I, that includes the courthouse in Cedar Rapids, and it includes literally thousands of public properties that were destroyed because of those 500-year flood levels. So in addition to a lot of infrastructure needs that we've not addressed for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, we now have a separate challenge related to helping communities, large and small, rebuild their infrastructure from the floods. So one of the first things we're going to do with this $750 million is I've proposed that we set aside $150 million for flood recovery to help communities rebuild from the floods. We have a lot of projects that are receiving federal funds, FEMA funds, but in most cases they only get 90% of the cost. So the state has to has to come up with the other 10. So if you have $1 billion of projects of damage to our public infrastructure, that means we need $100 million in state money to get that federal 90% match. So we could use some of this $150 million for just the match. We could also use some of that $150 million for the disaster recovery part of this Iowa Jobs Initiative to enhance these projects. So why can't we rebuild Hampshire as the most modern, energy efficient, LEED certified auditorium in the Midwest? Why can't we really make a beautiful statement about how serious we are in terms of rebuilding a better, stronger, more sustainable Iowa? And this money could really help us get to the next level in terms of our overall rebuilding and recovery efforts.